Growing up, like through high school, mission, my early years of college until I went to therapy and started helping myself out, two of my most persistent, invasive thoughts were you are a coward and you are a failure. Now, externally, there's not a lot of there that makes sense. Of course, what mental illness does is dresses itself up as logic and then gives you illogical ideas, right? So, despite the fact that I was a successful student, I got good grades, I had a very close knit friend group, I ran cross country, I got to hang out with people all through high school. I did the things that were kind of expected of me, but also that I wanted to do, like go on a mission. And then in college, I started dating Allison and had a really good support system all around me. And that despite all of that, I still felt both of those things for a long time. The coward one, the explanation internally was that I was taking everything the easy route. Because with two older siblings, it's very easy to take examples from them and go into classes that they liked and try things that they liked. I never felt like I ever took a real risk, which may sound strange given that I went to South Africa on my mission, that I served a mission at all. But even through my mission and through college, I was still feeling that to a degree. As for the failure, it coincided. Those two worked off of each other, kind of intertwined. I felt that I could not be possibly living up to my potential. And because of that, I was a failure for taking that easy route, for being too scared to do anything else. I was failing. This year, I made a goal and I failed that goal. From a binary, two-dimensional, black and white kind of view, that is a correct statement. But from that failure, I created something perhaps more impactful and important to me. The goal, of course, was to do something creative every single day. So then I left that intentionally vague because I wanted to feel like it was possible. But my goal overall was every single day, spend a little bit of time at least doing something creative. Music, writing, freaking spending time with friends, creating something with them, videos, streaming, almost anything counted. Despite that, I very early on, probably within 3 months of making the goal, 3 or 4, maybe 5 months, I had probably already failed it. I had missed some days. I'd gotten sick. I'd had a bad day at work, whatever. So why is that okay? And why did I keep going despite that? These are good questions. To answer those questions, we're going to take a look at actually something my mission president taught me, and the whole mission, really. We did zone conferences based off of these ideas, but our exit interview with the mission president, he spent an hour and a half with me. He did that with everybody, and it was a very important meeting where he talked about goals and plans and how to make those things. He had a division of how he viewed these things. Okay, so on the middle level, we have goals. On the top level, we have a vision. And on the bottom level, we have plans. Okay? If we break those down into what those are, it's a why, a what, and a how. Okay? A vision is why we're doing anything. It's an unchanging ideal that can be eternal. The goal is the what. What are we trying to achieve based on that vision? And then the how is how are we going to achieve that goal? That's the plan. This is something I really always loved, but I never properly implemented because I'm not very good at making goals. But somehow, despite that, I realized recently that's what I did this year. So, what I did actually is in setting this goal to create something every single day, what I actually did was create a plan to achieve a larger goal. And that goal, of course, became the album. The vision above it all is what kept me going through it all. The vision of creativity. To exercise that ideal, to exercise creativity, we will make a goal of release the album by the end of the year. That is the goal I made for myself. And how I was going to do it was by plugging away every single day and doing a little bit of creativity. It didn't even all necessarily relate to the album, but just by pushing myself to consistently do those things, even though, again, technically, if that's the goal I failed, then that I was going to get somewhere with it. So let's talk about the album. This is important to me. These are songs that I've written over the past 5 years, spaced out in different ways, but in a lot of ways they encapsulate everything that I learned over the past 5 years. So I've written down a couple of questions for myself. The first of which is, how did it feel to release the album? What things surprised me and what things that I expected came true? What I expected is what came true, which is I would receive a lot of support from friends and family who care about me. And I really appreciate you guys for that. What I didn't expect is, and this will sound negative, and I apologize for that. I don't mean for this to be negative at all, but it is what happened. There was almost a feeling of being underwhelmed by the release. And that's not anyone else's fault. Again, my family and friends really supported me on it. They really hyped me up. And yeah. But, you know, you create these songs for 5 years, and then you work really hard to create what you want to be their definitive forms, right? And then you let go of it, and nothing really changed about them. At least not yet. It hasn't been that long. But nothing really has changed about those songs. They still feel very, very personal. And despite the fact that a lot of people have heard them now, I think that's a good thing overall. One of my greatest fears was that I would lose something, or something would change in how I create because of something someone says. And that has not really occurred. Maybe it's because I haven't had any really major criticism, or maybe it's because I am the major critic of this album, really. But yeah, what does it mean to me that I accomplished this goal? It does mean a lot. One of the major takeaways I've had so far, it's funny, I was talking to Allison about what I'll talk about later on in this video, and I said to her, I don't know if I can say that I want to make this goal because, and what I was going to finish that sentence with is, I've never, just by my own personal motivation, created and finished a huge project. And right as I was about to say that, I was like, oh, that's not true anymore. I released an entire album by my own personal motivation. So that's probably one of the biggest things that matters to me in having done this, is there's this feeling of greater understanding that I can accomplish something and how I can accomplish it. That this huge thing that feels overwhelming and I have no idea really how to accomplish it can just be broken down into 15 minutes a day whacking at it. And then by the end, suddenly there's something there. It makes me feel like I can do almost anything, given enough time and effort. It makes me feel like I can accomplish things. Makes me feel, I guess, successful. To go back to the beginning of this video, how did I grow? Ooh, I didn't cue this up at all. I was going to. Hold up. So there's one very tangible moment of growth that I can show you. There's a lot of small things that I'll explain, but this is probably the biggest tangible moment of growth. So we have my song Eyes Closed. Okay, so we know this song. If we jump to the chorus. So we got that, right? If we go back, the original version. You hear that? Kind of bad. Basically, it's just kind of bad. And I knew it was bad. Especially, like, you compare the two, right? You see what I mean? So that's a very tangible moment of growth. Because I recorded Eyes Closed, like, in 2023, when I wrote it initially. It's kind of the first song that got me being like, oh, maybe I want to record these. But I recorded that, and it was good. It was good for me having recorded one other song before that. But Allison kind of helped coach me through, like, okay, you're not, like, you're going into a falsetto there, and it just doesn't quite fit in with everything else going on. So if you can just, like, hit that without falling into the falsetto, then it'll sound better. And so we worked on it, and it came together really well. So that's a very tangible moment of growth. There's lots of little things, learning better ways to operate the recording system, noticing how recording works, noticing how to really clean up smaller details, when I want to take out, like, breathy sounds, when I want to leave them in, like, seeing how much control I have over everything. And then, like, getting to the end of the process and realizing, like, oh, I still have a lot to learn, as I, like, tried to work on doing a little bit of mastering, like a minimal amount, and then realizing I knew nothing about it and actually couldn't, and had to ask Ben for help. Like, that was all, like, this really cool. I think that's the funny thing about it, is, like, I know I've grown this year. I know I have, because I put in all this effort, and it went somewhere, right? But I feel like I don't really know anything still. I mean, that's not entirely true. Like, I feel much more confident. That was probably gross sounding. I feel much more confident in being able to record and write a song and all of this stuff. But like, that being said, I just feel like I still feel very far from being professional. That, not that I'm ever trying to become professional or anything like that, but yeah. How did this affect me in other areas of my life? That's a very good question. Because I did notice, I don't know if I can say it's because of this goal. Maybe, like, some other parts of my brain kind of kicked in because I was working the creativity part, Like, I don't know. It's hard to say. I have started a new job recently. And I think it is because I released the album that I decided to leave UPS. Maybe not because. It's one of the reasons, maybe. And I think it's because I could go into greater detail on this. Originally, what this video was going to be was me fully breaking this down, but I don't think I will. Maybe another time, maybe not. I don't know. Basically, I think I was using UPS as, like, a crutch, because it was nice to be able to, even though I hated the job, it was nice to be able to work part time and know that I had time when I got home and at least some energy to do something I liked, you know? Even though some days, again, it's ironic because how this all began was like me thinking about the fact that I preferred staying home sick than going to work. So like, let's try to make life a little bit better. But I think that there was some block in my mind where I was like, if I don't do this album thing now, then I never will because I'll be more busy later on. And so I felt maybe some kind of pressure. And because UPS gave me some free time, I felt like I couldn't really leave. Maybe. These are ideas, right? I think those are concepts that might be like subconsciously believed in the back of my mind. And just the having to explore and get outside myself and try to find a new job, like that aspect is also really difficult. And so I think because I was exercising this creativity so constantly this year, it helped me like kind of be more willing to fail, I guess, and be more willing to like try to jump into something brand new, which is what I'm doing now, something I've never done, something I probably never thought I ever would do, and just be okay with like I don't really know what's going on and it's just going to take some time to figure out and that's okay. Let's talk this year then. Right. I've had different people ask me, like, what am I planning this year? And I haven't really had an answer until this moment when I realized that I had created that vision, goal, plan outline for myself by accident. When I realized that, I was like, oh, I have something. That means I have something I can go off of this year. So the vision stays the same. Creativity. Beautiful. Blah. The goal, we'll skip the goal. The plan also stays the same. Do something creative every single day. Slight change there. I want 2 to 3 of those days to be dedicated to writing. And then the rest of the days can be music, it can be collaborative stuff with friends, whatever. But 2 to 3 of those days have to be me writing. And because of that, and the reason for that is the goal is to make progress on a story me and Corby planned in high school. That's I'm not saying the actual goal here yet. Maybe I'll say it later. I'm still too nervous to say it. So I'm setting the goal at a realistic point where I can say make reasonable progress. And reasonable doesn't mean anything. I know that. I know that's not a real measure of anything. But to me, that makes sense. If I have made like significant progress in this story, because there's only like 2 chapters written, maybe, right? Then that would be fantastic. So that's the current plan, goal, and vision. And I'll let you guys know how it goes. Maybe I'll like post chapters in places you guys could see. I don't really know about that. No promises there. But if you ask to read it, I might share it with you. That's definitely a possibility. Okay, battery's gonna die, but I do have just a couple more things I want to say, and those are mostly to you guys. I just want to say thank you all. Thank you for supporting me this year. Like who should I even talk about? Like people who worked on the album. Cole made the beautiful album art. Like look at that. Like Cole took a vision in my head and like a base drawing as an example, and he created that, and it's perfect. It speaks to the album beautifully, I think. So thank you, Cole. Thank you, Alex, for joining in on freaking The Self. What a crazy, stupid song that is. It's like so ridiculous, and you tied the whole thing together with that violin. It was so fun working down here with you and just like singing out notes and letting you find them and then just like go. You know what? That was a great time. Nikki, we were on a bunch of songs and you helped do some editing, and you sang on one of them. Like your bass was awesome, your singing was great, and you were just a big support the whole time. So thank you. Like you truly made the album better. Ben, breaking out of the family a little bit. Ben was the pianist in Ocean Eyes, and like again, of people who just inspire me creatively, you are near the top of the list. So thank you for being so inspiring. Thank you for being a great friend. And I I mean, I just appreciate the heck out of you. You know this. I've said it to you 1,000 times, but I mean, just really thank you for being who you are and for being in my life. Thank you to all of you who listen, mom, dad, freaking, I don't know who's watching this video. I don't even know necessarily everyone who's listened, but if you listened to the whole album, if you listened to one song and decided it wasn't for you, thank you. Thanks for commenting. Thank you for telling me what you think. I want feedback. I want to know what you guys liked and didn't like, and I just appreciate your time because I know it's all just time and energy, and I appreciate you giving a little bit of it to me. And finally, just Allison, you've put up a lot with me this year because of this thing. I feel like I just really focused on it so hard that maybe I didn't. No, I don't think I really like neglected you in any way, but thank you for helping me with it all. Thanks for just like being like, you've got this, and and just being like, yep, that sounds like a problem. I'm sure you'll figure it out. Like that's you're everything to me. So thank you. I love you all, and I know maybe it's not like I know it's not the greatest album in the world. I again, I'm probably the biggest critic of it. I see every single problem and maybe more. I'm sure there's others that I don't see, but I see a lot of issues with the album, and I want to improve. And hopefully, with the goal this year, I can both continue to grow musically, but also expand some of my other talents that I have kind of put on the side as I've gotten older that I would love to exercise again. I guess I don't have a guitar down here, so I can't even play us out. Sean, play us out.